Who would I have at their peak? Ronaldinho or Kaka? And reasons why? Well, I think they're both fantastic players. Kaka brilliant, but I just think Ronaldinho just had something like a little bit special, a bit more of the X factor. I think, like, you know, so it would be Ronaldinho for me. Well, I think of the new Arsenal model, changing through different people doing different jobs instead of just one man doing it. Yeah, I'm all for change. I think it'd be, listen, I think it'd be better for in the long run that not just one person's running it, because then, you know, if that person leaves or whatever, it's making it very, very difficult. So all in all, I think it's a good move from Arsenal to do that. Whether it be successful or not, well, time will see. Well, I think Jamal Lascelles would be a good signing from Newcastle. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think he'd be an excellent signing for Arsenal, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to go down that route. But every time I've watched him for Newcastle, I think he's been solid. Looks like a leader. You know, young. You know, I'm a bit surprised he wasn't included in the England squad, because he looks like not only a decent player, a leader as well. So I'd love to see him at the Arsenal. Am I excited about the Arsenal players, not in the first team, that are going to come through from the youth? To be honest, listen, as an Arsenal fan, you always want to see players come through the youth system, and you're very, very excited about it. What ones will come through, I'm not so sure. The route that Arsenal are going down now may be different, but I think that there are some good players coming through the youth team, because we got to the youth team cup final. The players that I see in it were decent, but whether they're going to make an impact on Arsenal, I'm not so sure. And the way that the policy's going at the moment, I don't think that we'll see too many youth team players coming through in the next couple of seasons. What do I think of the new Arsenal kit? It is absolutely awful, and the person that designed it should be sacked. Worst Arsenal kit ever, without a shadow of a doubt. If I could pick the new Arsenal captain, and reasons why, I'd pick Aaron Ramsey. I just think that his time is now, if he signs that new contract, obviously. I just think that he's, the way he conducts himself and everything like that, he'd be a very, very good Arsenal captain, leads from the front. So Aaron Ramsey for me. How did I feel when Thierry Henry officially signed for Barcelona? To be honest, it was always on the cards. I wasn't as disappointed as, say, like when Van Persie left, or someone like that, or Patrick Vieira. I think we always knew it was going to happen, and obviously it was a big loss to lose Thierry Henry. But because he went to Barcelona in Spain, I always felt that I could support him in whatever he'd done. With the new Gazidis era, do we think we will change the manager every 2 or 3 seasons, and will it upset the players? Listen, the policies of other clubs seems to be going down that route. You know, it doesn't seem to affect Chelsea and their players. I think that, if I'll be honest, I think that the players have had it easy under Arsene Wenger. The holiday camp's over now, so they're going to have to get tough mentally. I think that Arsene Wenger has let them get away with that mental side of their game and protected them. But now it's time for them to grow up, be men, and yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to see that. Listen, with the Pierre-Emerick, you know, hopefully he'll be there for a few more, you know, 4, 5, 6 years. Hopefully, you know, I think that Arsenal have always gone down that route of long-term managers, so let's hope that continues. The worst Arsenal team. Well, that's a real tough one to do. I really feel that I wouldn't want to do that, if I'll be honest. But if it comes down to it and there is pressure to do it, then I'll obviously do it at a later date. But I'm not going to need a lot of thinking time on it. Cool, there would be some candidates, I can tell you, like, you know, if I'll be honest. But at this moment in time, I'm going to decline that question. Do I think Xhaka could be the problems solved under our new manager? Look, a lot of talk about Xhaka, as far as I'm concerned. You know, if we get a holding midfield player alongside him, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. You know, from my point of view, he's had 2 years now to do what he's doing. Personally, you know, I wouldn't sacrifice Aaron Ramsey, Jack Wilshere, even if he does sign a new contract, or somebody else, for him to go into a different role in Arsenal's setup. You know, has he been mismanaged by Arsene Wenger? Well, I think he's got one more season to do that. My personal feeling is if we can get some money for him and sell him, that would be my solution. Who would I sign for central defence and central midfield? Well, I would have liked to have signed Fabinho, but obviously he's just gone to Liverpool. Seri would be a very good option. I've seen him a couple of times. Ivory Coast international. Looks what we really need is somebody like that. And at central defence, we've already spoke about him. Lascelles at Newcastle would be a good candidate for us to look at. But they would be my two. Who would I bring in realistically from PSG? For you, Emery, I would go Thiago Silva, central defender. Is it realistic? Who knows? You know what I mean? They're all like the PSG boys are on terrific money, so that would be the one that I would bring in. Am I surprised? Bellerin, Mustafi, Wilshere, and Lacazette missed out on the World Cup. Very, very surprised on Lacazette because I felt that he'd just come into a bit of form. France must have some forward line if they can leave him out, because they also left out Martial as well. So, yeah, a little bit surprised about that one. Surprised not so much about Jack Wilshere. Disappointed more than anything, because I look at the England midfield and the one thing that they do lack is someone like Wilshere. I do think though with Jack, he was just tiring towards the end of the season, and maybe the rest would do him good in the long term. Bellerin, you know, would have probably gone as a standby, but I just think that maybe his form has not been that great this season, and I was surprised about Mustafi. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Mustafi can't defend, so the German coach must have seen that, and I'm not surprised by his absence from the World Cup. Was Arsene Wenger overrated by us fans, and his 3 titles not go down as legendary status? Listen, you know, whenever he won the league, let's get this right, he won the league without losing a game. You know, to do that is an unbelievable achievement, and you cannot take that away from him. You can't try and make it out to be something that it's not, and criticise him down on other things. Just on that fact alone, that gives him legendary status at Arsenal or anywhere else, if I'll be honest. And the other 2 titles he won as doubles, you know, and we talk about legendary status on the 71 team that's well thought of, and rightly so. So, you know, to win a double at any time is got to be lauded, and as far as I'm concerned, they're fantastic achievements, and because of what Arsene Wenger's done in the last 3 years or the last 10 seasons or whatever, you cannot start trying to take away the fact of what he'd done before that. You know, to win 2 doubles is a unique achievement that was, you know, hardly ever done until Arsenal done that. and the Invincible says it all. What player have I not seen in the Premiership? I think I've probably seen most of them. The one player that I probably wish I'd have seen a lot more of, because I was playing in that era as well, was of course Patrick Vieira. I didn't see him that sort of team, if I'll be honest, as much as I'd like to have done, because obviously I was playing at the same time, so it'd only go when I weren't playing. So I'd have to say, like, I know it's a little bit of a different part of the question, but I didn't see as much as Patrick Vieira as I would have liked to have seen. Now that Pierre-Emerick has been appointed, where do I think Arsenal will finish at this moment in time? They will finish 6th again, because unfortunately the teams above us are well in front of us as far as ability is concerned. Look at Liverpool at the moment, far better team than us, and they're already strengthening. If we bring in some defensive stability to the team, with his tactics and all that, like, I think that, look, it's very, very important as a club that we get into the top 4 next season. At this moment in time, out of the top 6, we are actually the worst. They're all going to improve, so we've got to improve with the players and also tactically. So look, it's just important that we get into the top 4. If we can get that, I'll be happy, and we can build from there. But at this moment in time, it's going to be really tough. Am I one of the fans that generally hates Ashley Cole? I don't generally hate Ashley Cole. Listen, there are many reasons around that. Like, we'll never know the truth, really. Did he want more money or whatever? He wanted to win things, and can you blame him for that? As a player, I can't. It's obviously hurtful that he come through the ranks and decided to go to Chelsea, but I don't really hate Ashley Cole with a passion, if I'll be honest. And time forgives. I think he was a fantastic player for us, and when you lose fantastic players, it hurts the fans. And but time's a healer. Time's a healer. Do I think social media makes it easy to turn on your team? Well, I think that, if I'll be honest, I don't know if that makes it easier, but it certainly makes it easier for the players, the club, to hear the voice of the fans, where years ago, you didn't. Going back in the olden days, if you weren't happy with the manager, you do, and it happened in the 80s with Thierry Henry, you'd all the fans would get by the dressing room and the marble halls there and shout and say that they weren't content. Did it work? Well, sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But I feel now with social media, it's just opened up more avenues for criticism. The criticism that the Liverpool goalkeeper got this week because of his mistakes in the Champions League final, horrendous. Totally uncalled for. So, I think that social media makes it easier to vent your anger, I suppose, because you can just do it right there and then, and sometimes get to the people that are involved in that, So, yeah, I think that social media has come along now, and it's taken the world by storm, let alone football. And it is a big thing now, and the players are aware of it. Let's be honest, we know that. The clubs are aware of it. So like where you'd go down the pub and vent your anger because you've lost a game. It's changed now, but it's still the same. Listen, you go down a pub or you go on social media now and you slag off the players and the team because they've lost, but you're back there next week cheering them on again, and if they win, it's all great. So social media's here, and whatever way you look at it, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's here, and I think personally, you know, you've got to use it wisely. Some people don't, some people do. Right, next week we'll be taking general questions, just about anything really, you know, so you can ask me anything within reason, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. I'm pretty sure we'll get a few more questions dismissed next week, like, you know, but you can ask me anything you want, and I'll try and answer them. You can all, you know, don't forget to do that by saying #AskTheJudge and leave your comments below for next week.